As someone who has been watching this beloved show for more decades than I care to count, I have to say that the Friday, April Jaime Born episode is shaping up to be an absolute emotional roller coaster. I am looking at Felicia, a woman who has survived more danger and heartbreak than almost anyone else in town, and I see a storm brewing that might just break her. The spoilers indicate that Felicia is about to receive news that is incredibly hard to accept, and my instincts tell me this is not just a passing inconvenience. We know that Dante Falconeri is currently putting himself in extreme danger by actively investigating the dangerous Ross Cullum. Felicia has always had a fierce protective streak, and seeing Dante walk into the lion's den is prompting her to take immediate action. However, the situation is far more complicated than a simple police investigation gone awry. Why is Dante in so much danger? The tragedy lies in the fact that Dante is completely oblivious to the reality of the situation. He is hunting down Cullum with the righteous determination of a seasoned detective, completely unaware that the person who actually shot Cullum is his own flesh and blood, little Rocco Falconeri. I find it absolutely gut-wrenching to watch a father unknowingly close in on his own son. The new storyline developments reveal that the safety of Rocco is taking things entirely too far, pushing the boundaries of what these families can endure. How will Dante react when he discovers that the criminal he is pursuing is his young boy? I believe this revelation will shatter Dante's worldview, forcing him to choose between his sworn duty to the law and his absolute love for his child. Felicia stepping into this mess implies that the protective circle around Rocco is tightening, and the stakes have never been higher. To make matters even more intense, we have Jason once again stepping up to act as the sacrificial lamb. I have watched Jason take the fall for so many people over the years, and his willingness to take the blame for Rocco's crime is both noble and utterly tragic. Jason preparing to go down for a shooting he did not commit just to spare a child from the harsh realities of the justice system is classic Jason, but it complicates Dante's investigation immensely. If Dante believes Jason is the culprit, the real truth about Rocco might remain buried, but at what cost? The psychological toll on Rocco, knowing an innocent man is suffering for his mistake, is going to be immense. I cannot help but wonder if Felicia's agonizing news is the realization that Rocco is the true shooter, putting her in the impossible position of holding a secret that could destroy Dante's family. Speaking of holding devastating secrets, my heart absolutely aches for Britt. The spoilers for April Jaime Born reveal that Britt is desperately hoping for reassurance from someone as she faces the crushing weight of Rocco's crimes. Britt has discovered the horrifying truth that Rocco shot Cullum, and the sheer terror she is experiencing is palpable. I have always admired Britt's resilience, but this is a burden too heavy for anyone to carry alone. She is frantic, vulnerable, and terrified for the people she cares about, especially knowing that Jason is ready to ruin his own life to cover it up. Britt needs a shoulder to cry on, someone to tell her that everything will be all right, but the person providing that comfort is the absolute last person she should trust. This brings me to the most twisted and psychologically damaging dynamic currently playing out on our screens. Cassius, parading around with the face of the beloved and deeply missed Nathan, is the one stepping in to comfort Britt. Does anyone else feel a cold chill down their spine watching this? I certainly do. Cassius is a soulless, calculating manipulator, and he is using his uncanny resemblance to Nathan to exploit Britt's vulnerability. He is convincing a frantic Britt to calm down and let him handle the Rocco situation. The fact that Britt is finding solace in the arms of a man who wears the face of her past love, while harboring such a dark and dangerous agenda, is a ticking time bomb. The spoilers explicitly state that Cassius comforting Britt is going to make everything explode, and I completely agree. How long can Cassius keep up this charade before Britt realizes she is sleeping with the enemy, figuratively speaking? Cassius is not helping Britt out of the goodness of his heart. He is positioning himself to control the narrative and use the Rocco situation to his own advantage. I believe Cassius will use this secret as leverage, perhaps to further his own twisted goals within Port Charles. Britt's desperate need for reassurance is blinding her to the monster lurking behind Nathan's face. When the truth finally comes to light, the explosion will not just be about Rocco's crime. It will be the devastating emotional betrayal Britt will suffer upon realizing she trusted a Faison. I am bracing myself for the emotional fallout, as Kelly Thibault is sure to deliver a powerhouse performance when Britt's world inevitably shatters. Let us shift our focus to another woman caught in a web of deceit and danger, Nina. The spoilers indicate that Nina receives a stern warning from Valentin, and I have to say, Valentin is entirely justified in his concern. Valentin and Nina have formed a new alliance to take down the ruthless Brennan, a move that Carly vehemently disapproves of, and for good reason. Nina is putting herself in grave danger by feeding Brennan information for Valentin. However, the warning Valentine delivers on April High My Born is not just about Brennan. It is about the chaotic and unpredictable storm that is Willow Kane. I must confess, the evolution of Willow is one of the most shocking transformations I have witnessed in my years of watching this show. Who would have ever guessed that the sweet, mild-mannered Willow would turn into a paranoid, out-of-control shooter? The revelation that Willow is the one who shot Drew Kane is a massive twist that redefines her entire character. Now, Willow's actions are going entirely too far. She is desperately trying to cover her tracks, and her paranoia regarding Kai and Trina knowing her secret is pushing her to the brink of madness. Nina is caught right in the middle of this disaster, being blackmailed by Willow with a syringe containing Nina's fingerprints. Valentin's warning to Nina highlights the extreme volatility of the situation. Willow is spiraling, and her desperate attempts to maintain her perfect facade while hiding a violent crime are leading to new, shocking changes in the power dynamics of Port Charles. Nina, despite all her past mistakes, has a fierce maternal instinct, and I suspect she might find herself in the bizarre position of having to protect Kai and Trina from her own out-of-control daughter. The irony is not lost on me. Nina has spent years trying to build a relationship with Willow, and now she is being held hostage by Willow's dark secrets. How will Nina navigate this minefield? If she exposes Willow, she destroys her daughter's life. But if she stays silent, she allows an unstable Willow to potentially harm innocent people like Kai and Trina. It is a brilliant, agonizing dilemma that will surely keep us glued to our screens. Meanwhile, the criminal underworld of Port Charles is experiencing its own seismic shifts. Sidwell, a man blinded by grief over the death of his son Marco Rios, has been a terrifying presence. Cassius, ever the manipulator, played a dangerous game by planting the idea in Sidwell's head that the innocent Lucas Jones is responsible for Marco's death. However, the spoilers for April High My Born reveal a fascinating turn of events. Sidwell actually finds a way to insult Cassius. This is a monumental shift in their dynamic. Cassius is used to pulling the strings from the shadows, but Sidwell is not a man to be easily controlled. This insult is not just a battle of egos, it is a clear indication that new adjustments and changes are proving Cassius is being put into a very dangerous situation. Cassius has overplayed his hand. By manipulating a grieving and ruthless mob boss like Sidwell, Cassius has painted a massive target on his own back. Sidwell is unpredictable, and if he even catches a whiff that Cassius is playing games with Marco's memory, Cassius will face a wrath unlike anything he has ever seen. I find it incredibly satisfying to see Cassius, who has been so smug in his manipulation of Britt and others, finally face a threat that he cannot easily charm or scheme his way out of. We also cannot forget Ava's role in this dangerous dance. Ava has been growing increasingly close to Sidwell, using his grief to build goodwill, completely ignoring Laura's explicit warnings about how dangerous Sidwell truly is. If Sidwell is turning his aggression toward Cassius, how will Ava play this? Ava is a survivor, and she knows how to navigate the treacherous waters of the mob. I believe Ava might use the friction between Sidwell and Cassius to solidify her own position as Sidwell's trusted right-hand woman. However, she is playing with fire. If Cassius feels cornered by Sidwell, he might lash out, and Ava could easily become collateral damage in their war of manipulation. As I sit back and analyze these interwoven storylines, I am struck by the sheer intensity of the drama awaiting us. We have Dante unknowingly hunting his own son, Jason preparing to sacrifice his freedom for Rocco, and Britt being manipulated by a man wearing a dead hero's face. On the other side of town, Willow is unraveling into a dangerous villain, holding Nina hostage with blackmail, while Valentine tries to steer them both through a war against Jack Brennan. And looming over it all is the explosive conflict between the grieving Sidwell and the calculating Cassius Faison. Every single character is walking on a razor's edge, and the Friday, April Heimly Born episode feels like the moment where the tightrope finally snaps.